Hey guys, just thought I would start working on another part of this system. And today the plan is to work in sort of factions and relationships and stuff between you and other NPCs. Essentially, so we can determine friend and foe, which might be pertinent later. Um, and it's worth getting it done now whilst the AI is very simplistic, so we can start utilizing the sort of check if somebody hostile was trying to kill us or not kind of thing. Should be really straightforward. Hopefully we're just going to make a simple interface, and then probably add to, I want to say, the game instance, sort of faction relationship kind of stuff. So the idea will be we've got an AI and they belong to a certain faction. We're in another faction, and then we compare our relationship between us, and it will be very simple, like it will return ally, enemy, or neutral, essentially. So, in order to do so, firstly, we need to be able to assess what our target, or what a character's faction is. Not specifically characters, but just in general, we want to be able to figure it out. So we're going to make a Unreal interface, and it's going to be I'm just gonna, do I be explicit here? Nah, that should do. Just call it team. It will be iTeam when it gets to it. We'll do the usual. Give it a second to, there we go. Yep. I need to figure that out sometime. Blah, blah, blah. Good. Okay. Get rid of all of this stuff. Cool. Got a nice empty map class here. Interface. So the obvious thing we need to do here, so we want to be able to discern, let's think about this. So we need some enumerations to start with. We'll just commandeer this. Right. So the first thing is we want an enumeration that's like I said, ally, enemy, neutral kind of stuff. So let's think about this. It's just going to be relationship type. Relation type, and just be specific relationship. Right. And as I said, it's ally, enemy, neutral, done. Okay. So in the team interface, we want to very simply have a method which is going to be called get relationship, and it's going to take in another team interface. Let's call it other for now. In fact, we can just put the body in here. Because we'll override this, or we'll just keep it simple for now and just say enemy, right? All right. Oh, whoops. Okay, there we go. Right. This will obviously do some other stuff later, but for now that will do. And then we need something for the faction you're in. So I feel like there's probably not going to be many factions, and as usual, an enumeration will probably do for this. So we'll just call it faction. And for now, just for simplicity's sake, ABC. And then we have the faction. Get faction. And this will have to be overridden. Oh, whoops. Just default to A for now. Okay. I did try in the past to make these, what's it called? Abstract methods, which would mean we wouldn't need to do this at all. But unfortunately, we have to. So, yeah, it kind of sucks. I think that will do for now. They're all kind of going to do the same thing. Let's see. So we get the other team, and this would be like, we need to have some means of determining the relationship between one faction and the other. So I'm going to do that inside. Let's make another class, and then just make an instance of that class inside the game instance for now, in the same way that we've done a few other things. I really need to tidy up the game instance and make another class that manages all of its tables. Because there's no need for it to have all of this information inside itself. The only reason we're using game instances is because we know it gets created as soon as the game's run, and I'm pretty sure it saves between levels and all that kind of stuff. So I don't know why I'm running it. Right. So C++. We'll just make it in here. We can always move things out into folders afterwards. So this is just going to be a basic object as usual, and this is going to be, call it function manager. There we go. Simple as that. Yeah, reload all. Good. Cool. Right. So now we have a faction manager. So this is going to be where we determine the relationship of our factions. So obviously we're going to want to include it's going to be team.h. Okay. We need to move stuff around a second. Hang on. I've got this mic on a proper stand now, so I can put it at different angles and things. Before it was just on a stick on a metal board, which didn't really work too well. Couldn't maneuver it very easily, and obviously my hands would get bits in the way. It would help if I rotated my audio interface around, but doesn't matter for now. Right, sorry. Let's think about this. So we want a relationship type. Um, let's think. We'll just call it faction A and faction B. Or do we make this have this basically needs to account for the who's asking, I suppose. Oh no, they wouldn't have different factions relationships between each other. Don't worry. I'm just right. Team A, and copy this and call it Team B. So I was just thinking, does it work differently depending on who's asking? But it can't possibly. I don't need to make it virtual. Come on, generate. Cool. Okay, so we need a list of relationships. So how are we going to do this? So we could have a struct which represents one faction, then the other faction, and then the current relationship. Or we could have a map. No, we can't really have a map because the map would be... So the awkward thing we've got, let's just fire up Excel. So like, if we've got A, obviously, so it would be a matrix, right? So we've got A, B, and C, A, B, and C. So we don't count these. And then when you ask what's B's relationship with A, you get, I don't know, let's... Right, so this is what we're dealing with. Sorry if I'm going a bit quick here. So we've got this kind of data structure. Now, when we put the data in, between A and B, all right, so if we made a map, we'd have a map that held faction A and then potentially an array of structs, and each struct would have the faction and their relationship. That could be a possibility. Unless we have a free map. No, probably not. Okay, let's do that. So come and steal another struct. Yoink. Come into here. Struct. This is going to be faction relationship. Don't need any of this. So what we want is the E faction, and then the F faction relationship. All right. No, hang on, it's relationship type. There we go. And then I'll explain this a bit more adequately in a bit. And we have the faction to a T array of faction relationships. Oh, relationships. Ah, okay. Intriguing. So, I mean, this is going to be private. We don't need anything else to influence this at the moment. And then we probably want this, a constructor to make the relationships. So I've done this kind of thing in the past, but typically what we want relationships dot does it matter? It's find or add, I believe, which then gives us a link to the array. Okay, so we do this for each relationship type. So we want F faction. No, sorry, it's an enumeration. A. Okay, so we have a map. So we're saying, get me all the relationships for A, which gives us an array of potential relationships with other factions. So we want to add this because there's nothing in it at the moment. So we do A relationships dot add. Can we build a struct? I guess we just want a constructor for this. So we can just shorthand it to the usual in faction in relationship, and then we do faction equals in faction. Oh, all over the place today. Okay, and then in theory, just come into here. We do this. E faction, and it's their relationship with B. And then a relationship type. Let's say they're enemies. But hey. So this, right, if you can, if we do, say with C, and then we say ally. So I'm going to make a method for this in a bit, but there's 100% going to be a more efficient way of me achieving this. Because obviously I don't need to add each way round, because we'll be making duplicate data here. Obviously I've not followed this at all. Let's just do that. In fact, yeah, nice. So currently we've got this. So A is an ally. A is an enemy of C. B, ally of C. B is an enemy of A, which we've got here again. B can also be an ally of C. See, C is friendly to everyone. Or we could do neutral, for instance. Right, but you can see we've got duplicate data, because if we look through the array, the relationships, we can check from A to B and B to A. I've not really figured out in the past how to avoid that. So for now, I'll keep doing it like this, but it's just going to be a little messy. So this is going to be C relationships. Sorry, B relationships. Okay. So B and A are enemies. B and C are neutral. And then same again. C, C. A and B. And I think you can see what I mean here. Like, I wouldn't need to add this at all. This shouldn't even have to exist. Maybe if I did it in structures or a multiple map where the key is two different things which are interchangeable. I'll look into this later. Anyway, for now, we can literally do return relationships dot find or add team A dot get faction. Oh, man. Then we want this A relationships, and then we could probably have a map inside the map of the array. I don't know, I think I'm going to overcomplicate this, but for now all we have to do is go through this. This is going to be fr in a relationships if fr dot faction equal team B dot get faction return fr dot relationship, and this is gonna just return. Oh, whoops! Sometimes double clicking does not work for me. Neutral. Okay, fun times ahead. I'm going to simplify this until I can think of a better means of doing this. This is going to be create relationship E faction A E faction faction B, and then E relationship type. And what this is going to do, it's the same premises there. Right, so what we want to do here, obviously we find the faction A relationships, and then we add in that faction, that type, and then we do exactly the same, but inversed for faction B, and then faction A, and stop doing that, please. And then this is going to be B relationships. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're finding the faction A that we're passing into here. And then we're gonna add a relationship to that for the other faction of that type. And then we find the other faction and then do the same. We add the inverse basically. So we create the declaration, which, hey, now if we were to, let's be somewhat sensible about this. So if I now rename these, and I don't know, let's call it synths. This is going to be bandits, I guess. And then this can be guardians. There we go. These might end up being things in my game, but for now, here we go. So you can now see we've got simps, bandits, guardians, and this is still going to be faction A and faction B because it's generic. But now what we can do is create a relationship between the simps and the bandits, and we want to say these guys are enemies, and then we do the simps and the guardians, we say they're allies, and then we don't need to do anything else with that. So that's those done. And then we just need the bandits and the guardians. Neutral. I think if I get rid of this. Oh, yeah, okay. Relationship. Cool. Spell checker, absolute game changer for me. So we've got the relationship between the simps and the bandits, simps and the guardians, and the bandits and the guardians. So each of them should have 2 interactions basically. So simps have 2 there, guardians have 2 there, bandits have 2 there. And that should account for every possible variation. Fine, make it const. Goodness me. So pedantic about that. Right, so now we generated our starter factions. So we probably want to add a faction manager to your boy here. Let's call it you faction manager. And then we simply want get faction manager. And this will be Might as well do it in here. Come on. Then we create private property. New faction manager. New property. Go into the game instance where we start. Yeah, because we do all of this in here. So we probably want to... it's interesting. Low combined shocks, data. I suppose we want something similar to these down here. So actually, instead of this, do that. Generate definition, and then we come down here, copy this. This will just create something for us. Action manager. And then we, obviously we include it. And there we go. So we can access it from the game instance now. So when we're checking the relationship between one faction and the other, and here, we probably ought to... So this is our relationship with the target. So we're inside the context of ourselves. So we could have new game instance. Sorry. Alright, so we get the relationship. If we do this a bit more correctly, generate definition. Okay, whatever, right. So this would be return instance.get. Ay. Sorry, this is meant to be URPG game instance, which we will forward. Declare. Get faction manager dot get relationship. So this is going to be our team, which is going to be get faction. Oh, hang on. Sorry, it's we do this other, and we're done. So right, what we got here is an interface that allows us to check our relationship with another team. So if we put this on a character now, so we come into the character, we do public iTeam, we include the team header, good, and then we want to very simply override this method here in the character. And then we want a private thing here. New property. Faction. Return. Faction. This is going to be Is that right? That's right. Cool. Okay, so now we've got our faction. So now what we can do, just to set this up. So we can set the default faction. So we just come down here and we say faction equals bandits, let's say. And we know the simps are hostile to bandits. So we'll just quickly go into the player controller here. On possess, all we want to do is going to be, I think it's as mech, get character, we want a set faction method real quick. We've got to get, we just want a set faction. Faction equals in faction. There we go. Void. Cool. Right, so in our player controller, for now, we'll just whoops. Set faction simps. So now as soon as we possess our character, we'll just forcibly set the faction to simps. I'll make this property exposed, editable anywhere and stuff as well, I suppose. Might as well just shovel that in there. Oh, what did I just do? Oh. Wonderful. Right. So we've got the game instance. Game instance creates the faction manager. The team system can now compare us to them. So, what we need to do now is go into the AI controller and actually make them determine whether they're being shot at by a hostile or not. So what we're doing here, this is when we're being attacked. You should probably assume that we're only going to be attacked by enemies because there's no friendly fire. So this is probably fine. So I suppose the place to do it would be in the projectile. So when it hits something, we don't hit, we don't do damage to other people. So in here, so we need to know that, of course, but now we also want to do the same thing, but to check their team. We go target team. I'm just going to call this hit team actually. Whoops. Hit team. Just call that hit. And then we do if it's team dot get relationship. Now we're talking. Just dot source dot let me think about this real quick. So we need the game instance. Seems like a bit of a long way round. Oh, okay. Hang on a sec. Where are we? Base projectile. Okay. Oh, whoops. I've changed source get game instance. Enemy. Okay, we want just a shorthand for this. Let's call it us. To avoid using that too much, make that a bit shorter. Okay, so now we can do hit team get relationship between us and the thing that we've hit. I think. Oh, hang on, no, it's, yeah. Okay, so we're checking the relationship between us and the thing we've hit, and if it equals enemy, then we do some damage. So now we can actually follow this through when we hit things. So we want to come into here, probably in here, probably in here. I think that should be it. Oh, there we go. We'll just close all, wipe the slate clean a bit. I'll figure out a better means of doing that. Oh. What's it to be this time? Probably just something silly. An extra bracket. Oh, hang on. Ah. Yeah, I've had this problem before. It doesn't like having no default constructor. Try this. I think that's all it needs. It's just because you can't, the Unreal Engines generate ustruct body, generate body kind of stuff needs to have a base empty constructor. So, and if you only define one type of constructor that takes parameters in, and technically that's the only constructor available, because normally it defaults to an empty one, as soon as you give it one that isn't empty, it's the only one that the compiler's allowed to work with, basically. So here we go. Right. So we come into here, we have our relationships. So we've got simp1 and a empty array. Simp2, an empty array. Yeah, it's not looking too promising, is it? Empty. I've experienced this a lot before. Is it this? Sometimes it's simple as that. Because these are should be references. Let's just try that. If you don't define it, I'm not sure quite what it defaults to. Because this returns value type ampersand, which is a reference to the array. Let's see if it's as simple as that. Yeah, simple as that. There you go. No, so when you're dealing with T-array, whenever you want to manipulate it in any way, always make sure that it's a reference to the array. Otherwise, it will create a new, either an empty one or a copy. Okay, so our team A, obviously we don't have any values for it, but now, okay, we don't need this one. Come into here, faction is simps, the get faction is different, the relationship found is we are an enemy of simps. Cool. And now we come into here, so we have the other actor, which is our AI. So we get the hit team, which is obviously the AI's team. So we are faction simps. Yeah, that's right, isn't it? And then the hit team, which in our case is actually mech character, is bandits. And so we are hostile to each other, which we know because of our relationship here. So we run the hit code. And then if I clear out with these, it will come over and pew pew. Yeah, you'll never take me alive. Kite, get up there. Oh wow. Pew pew pew. Doesn't handle up and down very well. Wonderful. And you look in the output log, taking damage. Every so often there's a 90 something. Yeah, that's the ability we added. Cool. And that is a fully working faction relationship system. A reasonably simple one. But now we can have faction-based relationships. And all I need to do to make this more complicated is still have sort of enemy, ally, neutral, but we can then start returning that value based on, say, a relationship point system like in other games. So say for the sake of argument, there's 4 major factions in the game. We could have you neutral with everyone. As soon as you attack a neutral faction, you gain enough negative reputation to become enemies with them. And then if you do quests for neutral ones, you can become allies. And then obviously you could, I'll build a way of, like, I don't know, you can complete quests for neutral NPCs for an enemy faction to bring them back to neutral and then to ally. Or you know, potentially that would be the end result of all of this. But for now, we have a very straightforward means of determining friend from foe, basically. Currently, it's in the projectile, which I guess makes sense. Because if we hit a teammate, then probably not a good idea to do damage to them. Great. That's another reasonably straightforward system put in. And yeah, I will figure out a better means of doing this, because I'm absolutely certain there's a way of pivoting this data so that you only ever store the data once. I get the impression that you'd have a multiple paired value system, like a map of maps or something. Yeah, I'll figure that one out sometime. Anyway, for now it's all good, so I'll upload this, and the next plan will be to work on grouping, so we can have ally AI and enemy AI, and then have it so that the AI respond to events that happen to their teammates. So a very simple idea will be, if we go into the character, on this health change, when we go into combat in here, we can broadcast, our teammates can listen to this event and say, oh, our teammate is currently in combat, and then they can figure out what their teammates are trying to kill by the health change, or something, or do a scan around them. Maybe I'll attach like a sphere volume and do a get overlapping actors kind of thing. And then they'll start fighting the other AI, basically. And we'll go from there. Then I can start doing things like, I don't know, group formations. And then one of the key aspects of my game, I want you to be able to switch between anybody in your party, basically. So you'll press like 1 to 4 and you'll take immediate control of that character. And then AI will take control of your previous one. So you literally just swap controllers. And I've done it before in my previous version of this, I'm pretty sure. Did I do it in here? Welcome to the mess. This is before I knew how to do decent programming. There's a shit ton of stuff in here that probably shouldn't be. Set up groups. This is the kind of stuff we're going to do at some point. Oh my god. Yeah, I've even got the quest system in here. It worked. Don't get me wrong. It just wasn't that I should have split this into multiple components and classes, and it just should never have been this complicated. Wow, there is so, look at this. We're already in the near thousands. Oh my god. Oh no, and all of this. Jeez. This is the game we're currently recreating, by the way. It's already much better. However, I can reuse a lot of these concepts. So yeah, it's 1,000 lines of code. Good grief. Let me just see out of curiosity. I'm pretty sure it will be in here. Right, UI, perform panning, tick, cursor, actions. Somewhere is something around the lines of a swap character. Because because it worked really well. It's a very easy thing. I could probably literally copy and paste it from here and it'd still work. Here we go, demand swap character. Yeah, so we get our owner, we get the group we're in, we get the number of people in our group to make sure that we've actually got somebody else. We then check that we can swap to that character in case you've pressed the wrong button. We then get the character we want to swap to. We make sure they're not dead, they're not null, they have their owner isn't us, we're not trying to swap to ourselves. And then we set demanded controller to this, and then we get the other one to switch to our controller. And then this. You literally just possess and unpossess. You set the other person's controller to ours. You store a temporary version of us and them and swap them over, essentially. It was pretty straightforward, really. I could probably do a more simplistic version of this. But yeah, you just possess one thing and then you possess the other. So, we possess the old AI and they possess our current character. And that's that. We swap out the target and stuff so that the AI immediately carries on fighting what we're fighting and all that kind of stuff. That's the plan. So I'll leave it there. Thanks. So I hope this has been yet another reasonably interesting thing. I'm just going to keep going with this. Just going to keep funneling away until it's at least as close as my previous attempt at making this game was. Try and iron out all the bugs, make better versions of what I did in that game. It's already far surpassed it in terms of simplicity and how well it works and stuff. So just gotta keep going. Cool. I'll see you guys around.